Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're building a bench for the lathe, and no time too soon. I don't like my tools laying on concrete. Of course the lathe's laying on the rubber mat, and what we're doing is we're going to build a wall. We're going to use the bench as a way to make wall studs so that we can mount some plywood or OSB to the wall, so I can have screws in it so I can hang stuff, or brackets, whatever. But rather than to try to put screws to this concrete, I'm just not ready to do that. So I'm just making the back legs out of true 2x4s. These are all true 2x4s, true 4x4s, true 1-inch boards. They come off the sawmill, and we're using ash. And I'm just doing the 2x4 up the wall on 3 places. I think that's all that we need. And that's where my breaker box is going to mount to the wall right there. And then we'll run a line going out this screen here and go over to the house to the breaker box and wire it in direct to the breaker box. So I'm doing a 28-inch frame, 7 foot long, and that will accommodate the lathe real nice. And this is going to be a pretty tough bench, so I don't think I'm going to have any problems with the bench. I want to leave enough room in between from the bench. Let me turn you here. Between the bench and that cabinet that I wanted to take in the house and turn it into a gun cabinet, but it's just got awful heavy, and I thought, well, hell, I'll just put it behind the door. It fits behind the door. It's out of the way. So right here is where the gas line comes in, so I can put a gas heater in here, natural gas. So we don't have to worry about heat. It's a shame there's no windows in here, but oh well, nobody can see my shit. And I got an ear trying to pop on me for some reason. So I'm going to get to cutting on this stuff, and I'm just going to put shelves in here too. So I'm going to have a 2x4 go across here. In the middle one, I'm going to have one on each side. And I'm long enough so that when I cut a hole here for the motor to go down into, the motor will go down into the bench. Not far, but it'll go far enough that I need to cut a hole for the motor. So we're using 1-inch boards, true 1-inch boards. So I think that using lag bolts will work just fine, just like I used on the other bench. Of course, the other bench was plywood, so this is going to be a hell of a lot tougher. So I kind of miss the shop, but I don't miss the shop. It was limited to what you could do as far as how you put things, and I'm kind of limited to what I can do here. I'm going to have 3 benches. I'm going to have one up there in front, one right here for the lathe. The grinders, both grinders and vise will go on the front bench, and the drill press will go on another bench, and of course the welder and everything will be right next to the, they'll be underneath the bench up in the front, underneath the vise, simply because that's where I do most of my welding is at the vise. So we're probably going to have to put the bandsaw directly in the middle of the room, and we're going to have to make it so that it'll roll around so I can kind of move it out of my way if I need to. So I was thinking about making that bandsaw so that it would slide in the bench here underneath, but it's probably too long. It'd probably stick out about that far, and I'd probably be hitting my knee on it all the time. It was an idea. I thought maybe if I just put a roll out, then that way it's right in line with the door, so that if I need to cut something really long, I've got the door open where I can put stuff in the bandsaw and cut it. But I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be cutting anything that long anyway. But it's nice to have the longest span that you can when you're working with your bandsaw. So we're going to get started putting this together. Now it's just going to be clips here and there, and I'll just speed up what I'm doing. So I'm using my blue camera today, and I have a lot of problems with that blue camera, so it might be bits and pieces that gets cut out. So the red one's not charged, plus it's got a bunch of videos on it that I don't want to get rid of yet, and I don't want to put them on my hard drive yet because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I've got bits and pieces of where I was moving, driving down the road, all kinds of stuff, and I just don't think that it's necessary to put that in. So I don't know, I might just delete it all, I don't know. But enjoy the music. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, I've cut these at 80 inches long, and that brings it just below the ceiling so that I have a place to tuck wires if I need to. And then once I've got all the wires run, then I can just make some kind of beauty cover to go over it to hide the wires. But that gives me a little leeway. But the first thing I'm going to do is, on each end of this, I'm going to take the equivalent of this 2x4, and I'm just going to make a mark, the thickness of that, as soon as I find another pencil. And that'll tell me where I need to drill my holes. Alright, we're going to do that for each one of them. We're also going to do that for the 4x4 because it's going to come all the way out. I don't know what I'm thinking. I didn't need a 4x4, I could just turn this around and use it. So that way we know where we're going to put our screw holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill each one, that way I can just go ahead and start putting it together. Alright guys, I got ahead of you. I just got busy and said to hell with it. I'm going to go ahead and finish this bench. So I did. We've got the lathe mounted and in operation. She's ready to go. Now I just got to figure out where I'm going to mount my switch. It looks like it's going to have to be up here on the wall somewhere. But she's ready to go. Now we got 2 more benches left to go. And over here we got this bench that's going to go right here. Now I don't know what we're going to do with the press. I'd kind of like to get it out of here, but I'd also like to have it be in here so that I ain't got to go out in the cold in the winter time to use it. Having to go upstairs. Yeah, I could put it upstairs, but it means I'm going to have to go out in the cold. Of course, no more than I use it, I guess it wouldn't be that big a deal. Alright, and then we've got the bench that we're going to be putting right here. And this is going to be for the vise, and both grinders will be there. The drill press will be here somewhere. And we already know where the mill is going to be. So, and the toolbox has pretty much found its spot by accident. I just wanted to get that thing off the truck, so that's where it ended up. And I was just anticipating that the benches would work out. So, there you go. We're using ash lumber that come off the sawmill at the home front, up on the hill. I couldn't ask for a better life down here, man. I feel blessed. So anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.